But unfortunately, he's got so many Hydras that do a ton of damage. And that command center is on fire. I do not think that's... Nope, it's going to have to go down. So that's 400 minerals down the drain right now for DeMuSLiM. And DeMuSLiM's getting very pushed back here. This is looking extremely bad for DeMuSLiM right now. He has quite a few units up. DiMaga cannot finish it off right now, but he does have units coming in the back here. He's got tons of roaches coming in. He still has a small Hydra army. He's still got one engineering bay. I wish he would have killed that engineering bay. It wouldn't have even gotten a weapon upgrade. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to finish it. And the Marauders and Marines are definitely going to get their +1. And now the +1 does come up. And quickly, they start to do a lot of damage, especially Stim. And here, unfortunately for DiMaga, he's still off the creep. He hasn't pushed this creep up far enough yet. It's been about 4 or 5 minutes. I really wish he would have kept with his creep. He could have easily moved this creep up here. He's trying to. It's just so slow. He's just a little bit behind on that right now. And but he's done. DiMaga's done the trick. He's killed DeMuSLiM's natural. He's slowed his economy big time. And unfortunately for DeMuSLiM, he's going to have to do some kind of counterattack. He can't allow DiMaga just to sit and not let him take his natural. But look at this micro here. DeMuSLiM is definitely not giving up. There is no quit in DeMuSLiM whatsoever, as he realizes if he can get a couple of more upgrades, which he does have the armor upgrade going up as well, if that can finish before this game is over, it's going to be a huge plus for him, because DiMaga also has these upgrades. He needs to equal the upgrades or he's just going to get decimated. So another command center is going in to be built, and unfortunately it's flying in right here. I don't know. Hopefully DeMuSLiM can push him back. I don't know what DiMaga's doing right now. He should be feeding this army. He needs to get another hatchery, and he does have a sneaky hatchery down here at the bottom of the screen. He needs to start feeding this army. His army is way too small right now for an M&M build. As look at that, they just get rocked. I think he lost 2 or 3 Marauders right there, and DiMaga almost lost his entire army. And unfortunately now the tables have quickly turned. DiMaga was basically in his base, and unfortunately now DeMuSLiM is pushing up, and that army is way too small for this huge Marine Marauder mix, as this queen is going to drop very quickly. Look at this micro here. Phenomenal job here by DeMuSLiM. And look at DiMaga, he's just getting pushed in. Those big time tanks here for the roaches don't mean anything when you have a massive upgrade for your weapons. And here comes the kite, and look at all of these medevacs. Just got tons of heals coming in, and he loses his entire army, and DeMuSLiM is still hanging on with just 4 or 5 Marauders at the moment. Now only 3 Marauders. Here comes reinforcements big time, as he needed those to finish off this army, and DiMaga, pardon me, is getting pushed in right now. All of a sudden he's on his heels. The tables have turned so quickly, and both players doing a phenomenal job right now of macro. As you can see, it's hard to show on replays really, because I'm trying to stay with the action, but you just see units coming flooding in, more and more brand new units, because you cannot fall behind on macro, especially during a battle, or you're going to be in a world of hurt. But just like I said, look at this creep. It's basically in his base right now. I wish he would push this up right now, as he's trying to do. Right now would be a perfect time, as he's macroing his units back, is he needs to push this up into here, and he can almost have it right to his natural, have a nice job of creep here. And unfortunately for DiMaga at this point, he just can't get the upper hand. And here comes a huge army, but now he's off creep. A lot of his units are off creep here. Now he's back on creep. You can see the speed increase there. He's catching up to these stim-packed Marauders, but he's getting sloppy. He's allowing these Marauders to kite him, and there's going a lot of damage on these roaches and Hydras that should not be. He should be a little bit more careful, and he's going to go ahead and move the creep tumor here. Very smart. He's going to go open up all of this right here for creep. And he's got a medevac drop here. Just wanted to get that in here really quick. I don't know what he's planning on doing. Looks like he's just going to drop it so he can kill that simple Ling right there. But he's looking. He's hunting. He can feel that DiMaga definitely has an expansion somewhere. And there we go. He realized that DiMaga could push into his base. Oh, just sloppy play right there by DiMaga. I didn't even have to say anything. You guys know that was terrible play. don't run your units right there when you got all these Marauders just sitting on a hill. He took 0 damage, and DiMaga just lost 4 or 5 units without even firing, doing any damage. Oh man, that was sloppy. But he is moving it up here, and he is going to do a little spine crawler push. He needs to get these down quickly before these Marauders come in and just wipe him out. Oh man. Unfortunately, the spine crawlers do a ton of damage, but unfortunately, that was just a bad placement by the spine crawlers because he had no army here. He should have pulled those back until that army was ready. And he's trying to macro his units up here. As you can see that the waypoint is for this area right here, and he's got all of his hatcheries waypointing right here, but he needs to get this army up. He can't allow DeMuSLiM just to keep building. As obviously he's not going for a second gas, so we're not going to see anything different out of DeMuSLiM. It's going to be basically Marauders and Marines from here on out, as he does not have that second gas. So if he tried to do anything different, it would just completely gas starve him. I really wish he would get these 2 gases. Even just 1 or 2 SCVs would be enough. And here comes a massive army here from DiMaga. He needs to put pressure on these guys. He needs to put pressure on DeMuSLiM, or DeMuSLiM will probably overthrow this game, as Marauders, once they start to get some upgrades, get insanely beefy here. And so let's take a look at the unit count. And it looks like we have 18 Marauders for DeMuSLiM here, 7 Marines, and 7 medevacs. We have 4 Roaches here, and 29 Hydras, and 1 Ling for DiMaga. And so both players just feeling each other out. So far, a ton of action in this game. And oh man, here comes 8 medevacs and 17 Marauders. A much smaller army, but way a lot of heals here with these medevacs. Plus the stim pack, they absolutely decimate Zerg players here. And look at this micro here by DeMuSLiM. Phenomenal micro. Let's get rid of that big old window taking up half the screen here. Splitting his army, taking a small army here to kill out this small army of DiMaga, and now he's got his main army here. But DiMaga's got so many Hydras, and he's doing bad micro. He's doing terrible micro. He's attacking the planetary fortress while DeMuSLiM's completely wiping out his army. He should have been doing his damage on these Marauders and Marines here. And he's got backup army here, but that's not enough. That's going to get wiped out without even firing a shot. And oh boy, DeMuSLiM has turned the tables insanely quick here. We do have some infestors up for DiMaga. That could turn the table with some of their fungal growth and some of the cool little abilities that they have. And so he gets a scan over here and he kills 2 of the creep tumors. That could, it is minor, but that could do some big time damage. And look at DeMuSLiM. He's just starting to take over the game now with only his natural. And DiMaga knows it. He's forced to send in all of his drones after DeMuSLiM, as he has to not allow the focus fire of these Marauders onto his army. And DiMaga has to retreat. He just lost his queen from his natural. And he just, again, bad, not a lot he could do. That is bad micro, yes, but he had to send in his units. He couldn't just hide him in the back here. And unfortunately for DiMaga at this point, DeMuSLiM's now in his base. He's starting to do a ton of damage. He's dropping units. He's got the Roach Den down. He can now only build Lings and Hydras, which are going to get completely destroyed by Marauders with their very, very low life. He's got a couple of things. I don't know what he says here. He says EBAT POC. I don't know what that means, but he comes in here with his Marauders, and he's going to finish he's finishing most of the drones off, and obviously we can see here his main is completely mined out. He's getting 0 income now from his natural, and he only has the bottom 2 bases now being mined, but he doesn't have a spawning pool or a Hydra Den, which is now his building. So he's building a Hydraless Den and a Roach Warren, as he realizes his main base is done. There's no reason to save that, as there's way too many Marauders. But what this has allowed now is DeMuSLiM to pick up another expansion. He knows that this is starting to get towards the wire here. This is almost it. He realizes that he needs to finish what he has here. He needs to continue to get income, and he needs to start pumping out more Marines, more Marauders. And at this point, it looks like he's just going for Marines, Marauders, Medevacs. But this has really set back DiMaga.